Breaking news coming in right now. Manchester United look to be signing a player. In fact, Manchester United aren't just talking to a player. Manchester United aren't just putting out rumours of signing a player, but Manchester United, within 24 hours of being linked to a player, have gone and set out for him to do his medical. This isn't my club. This isn't Manchester United. This isn't us. Surely we're not this organised. And this just shows when we want to sign a player, we can get a deal done, because Altay Bayindir returns to Istanbul after he did a medical for United today. The player was linked to Manchester United this morning. They flew him out to Greece. He's done a medical today. United are now going to trigger his 7 million release clause. A deal is set to be agreed, and he will be the United goalkeeper to replace Dean Henderson if he leaves as the second choice goalkeeper. But this highlights that United could go grab and get Gravenberch, could go and get Amrabat, could go and get a striker, because when they need to sign someone because Dean Henderson is leaving, they can do it in a couple of hours. So why do we have these sagas to drag on Amrabat, drag on Gravenberch, drag on Højlund, drag on Onana, drag on Mount? I'll tell you why Manchester United have these sagas. Clicks, attention. They think that they could delay deal, they get money for cheaper. But Atlay Bayindir had his Manchester United medical today. I want to get into all the detail. I want to talk about the player, but there's so much more to get in today's show. Manchester United interested in Ivan Toney, a potential January move. The United Muppeteers that have inside sources within Manchester United have confirmed that we will be looking to do 2 or 3 more deals. Manchester United have woken up. Manchester United have made some movement in the transfer window. So we've got a lot to talk about. Amrabat, apparently we're going to put in a bid for Amrabat. Gravenberch, this Atlay guy, Brandon Williams going to Ipswich, Facundo Pellistri leaving the club, talks with Ivan Toney, talks with KUDUS as well. Could they hijack the West Ham KUDUS deal? Lots going on in the world of Manchester United. Interesting live stream to get into, guys. So please, whoa, I've just closed the tab. Please don't send me the live stream shut down. It hasn't, sorry. Just closed the tab by mistake. Please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video and all of that good stuff. But as you can see on the screen, and why have I closed the tab? As you can see on the screen, breaking, Manchester United have done a surprise medical for Atlay Bayindir, and he has passed the medical today as well. And I have to say, look, we've got some news on the Glazers. We've got some news on the Glazers leaving. We've got some interesting stories to get into. Staff are going, you know how the staff went on strike to stop Mason Greenwood coming back? Staff are now doing what they're doing, but saying they're going to go on strike if the Glazers don't leave the club and sell the club. So if that can get Greenwood out, hopefully it could do even better and get the Glazers out, eh? Because I tell you what, that'd be the best thing you can do at this club, get those bloody Glazers out. I tell you that for a fact. But Manchester United are obviously targeting Atlay Bayindir. He has done a medical. He has done a surprise medical. I'm just going to close this. I don't know why my mouse is basically half broken. So absolutely glitching today. Absolutely glitching out. So I do apologise as well. But look, we're going to talk about KUDUS. We're going to talk about Qatar. We're going to talk about Sheikh Yassin. We're going to talk about this potential new signing, among many things. But do smash that like button as well. We are going to talk about Facundo Pellistri going out on loan. Reports are coming in today that Manchester United are set to let Facundo Pellistri go out on loan. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I think, you know, if we're signing another attacker, Facundo Pellistri can go out on loan. But I know that Facundo Pellistri desperately needs game time. I know that, but we need him. I'm sorry, if you look at our front three, we need a player like Pellistri. Pellistri is going to add a lot. Who have we signed? People? Right. Breaking news. Manchester United doing a pre-medical on Atlay Bayindir in Greece ahead of a possible €5 million move. United want to assess the back issues before opting to sign a 25-year-old or others, depending on Dean Henderson's exit. So essentially, this guy's got a €5 million release clause. He's a 25-year-old goalkeeper, and he's a lot better than the mouthful of a name, Odysseus, who's at Benfica. He's a lot better than the player we're linked to at Benfica. He's not the best goalkeeper in the world, but as a second option, he's definitely better than the other names we were linked to, but still not great. But Manchester United have basically done a medical ahead of a €5 million move. And if he passes the medical, and reports from Turkey have said that he did pass the medical, United are going to get this guy basically in to replace Dean Henderson, who's set to be sold. I think my screen is being shared. I hope it's being shared. But it was said, if we can find it, it was said here, breaking, he has passed his medical. So the fact that he's passed his medical, the fact that news has come out that he's passed his medical, I think Man United will activate his €5 million release clause if Dean Henderson leaves. Although Romano is saying Man United have agreed a €7 million deal, David Ornstein saying it's a €5 million deal. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be about €5 to €7 million, which is pretty cheap. And he says the deal now depends, but Romano said the deal depends on the medical. And then literally a few minutes after Romano said this deal depends on the medical, it is basically said that he's passed his medical. And obviously Ornstein's come out and basically said, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that could be a deal done. That could be United finally signing a player. And look, Man United finally signed a player. And is it an interesting signing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not an interesting signing, but that's got United all over it. Maybe Pelistri's going out on loan due to Amad Diallo returning soon as staying. Yeah, I was thinking that in the chat as well, Nick. Good point there as well. And Pelistri could go on loan in January, depending on how the first couple of months go. Why the rush? Absolutely agree. Smash that like button. But I want to get into something the United Muppeteers said, because the United Muppeteers have inside sources within the club and not too interested in talking about a goalkeeper, but the United Muppeteers have been pretty much spot on with everything they said this transfer window. And they said this regarding Man United news, because we're going to get into Ivan Toney news, we're going to get into KUDUS news, we're going to get into Amrabat news, we're going to get into Gravenberch news. There's a lot of news that's come out today, probably because there's a negative mood around the club. The Greenwood situation's been negative. The lack of clarity on the takeover has been negative. The loss to Tottenham's been negative. I think, United is seeming to be doing things or maybe putting out reports to be positive, but United Muppeteers has an inside source within the club, and they've made a few interesting points about United, what they're looking to do this summer, 3 more signings that could potentially come in. And then after I get into this story, I'll get into the live chat, and then I'm going to get into the story that the Glazers might have no choice but to sell and they could be forced out. But United Muppeteers said this. Couple things happening. United obviously working on a lot of outs, not just senior, but at youth level. There's an eye to continue the youth rebuild with a view from United that they're lacking potential breakthroughs in many key positions. Following this, there's expectation that there will still be arrivals in the first team, with a goalkeeper looking close, midfielder and forwards under consideration. But at youth level, with eyes on more than a few under-21 players, striker, winger, right-back, centre-back position of note. So United are looking at a midfielder, forward and goalkeeper for first team. Obviously, the other one's youth team. So essentially, Atlay, that deal, that medical, that's the goalkeeper. The midfielder will be either Gravenberch or Amrabat, and reportedly United are going to make a bid for Amrabat on Friday, but that's not come from the best source. And then obviously forward. It has been said that now that Ten Hag was told in July that Greenwood would be coming back. Now Ten Hag knows Greenwood's not coming back. He's demanded we do get another attacker in. The United Muppeteers said, I'm not sure how significant any further moves will be at this point. Not much time left in the window, and many decisions are still to be made, including the final decision of whether Pelistri and United will let Pelistri go to Sheffield United. And obviously, Luton Town exploring a move on loan for Hannibal. He said senior outs in the form of Bayindir, Van der Beek, and of course Dean Henderson are moving ahead. And the interesting thing is he's saying, look, the Toney leaving is moving ahead. Also, they forgot to mention this, but Brandon Williams is set to join Ipswich Town. So Bayindir leaving, Brandon Williams get a 5-10 million fee from Ipswich, Henderson leaving, Van der Beek leaving. That would allow United to go and act on signing this attacker, this goalkeeper, this midfielder. But the interesting thing that they said here, and I think this is the main thing as well, is this. Gravenberch loan plus obligation conditions have been explored. Not sure where it stands. Amrabat is still there if wanted, and KUDUS has always been in the view of a fluid forward. So he's saying that actually keep an eye on KUDUS. I know West Ham are pushing for that move, but Erik ten Hag wants a fluid, versatile forward, and Erik ten Hag would almost like United to push for KUDUS. We know how Erik ten Hag feels about players that he's worked with. We know what Erik ten Hag's like when it comes to players at Ajax as well. So basically, KUDUS is one of the names being watched out for. Now that Mason Greenwood is leaving, Erik ten Hag has gone to the Manchester United board and basically demanded they get another attacker in. KUDUS can play as a number 10, which we've already got a lot of, but KUDUS can play as a centre forward, which would mean that we could play Rashford left and KUDUS could play as a winger. KUDUS is a bit like Sancho, but very different to Sancho in the sense that he can play as a centre forward and he can play as a right winger. He's definitely going to add something different to United. I'm not sure if he'd be my first choice signing. I'm not sure if he'd be my ideal signing, but KUDUS is the type of guy you bring in and he brings a lot to United. How is the connection on this live stream, guys? Is it laggy? I really apologize if it's laggy. Again, Wi-Fi is just doing one on me today. Wi-Fi is just like screw Alice, absolutely screw Alice. But he says, I don't think I have all the names and info. With little time left, things tend to move, and the Greenwood situation has changed in the last 5 to 7 days, and it's not been resolved. No time for a video, blah blah blah. But basically, his summary is Van der Beek, Henderson, and Bayindir set to leave. Gravenberch, Amrabat, and KUDUS are being explored. Ten Hag would like an attacker, goalkeeper, and of course midfielder at the end of the window. So 3 more players could set to be joining Manchester United this transfer window. I'm going to bookmark that because I think that's some key information there as well. So that was a big story that came out from the United Muppeteers. And now United Muppeteers also put out a few tweets and information. They said that Gravenberch has told his representatives in April that he wants to join United, and Gravenberch's first choice will be United. And he said that United are exploring a loan with an obligation to buy deal for Gravenberch. Gravenberch would become more attainable than Amrabat if Gravenberch is available on loan due to FFP. If United could get a midfielder on loan, they would make a move for Amrabat. Make a move for Gravenberch, because obviously Amrabat won't be available on loan with 1 year left on his contract. The United Muppeteers also added, and this isn't on the screen, but we have been linked to Ivan Toney today. We've been linked to a few attackers, but one of the interesting things that United Muppeteers did add is that Erik ten Hag is really pushing for a new attacker before the transfer window closes. He was told all summer that he'd have Mason back by August, so he expects the club to bring in someone else. And this correlates with the news story that came out a couple of days ago. I think when the day that United made their U-turn on the Mason decision, that Erik ten Hag had basically gone to the Manchester United board and essentially demanded that the Manchester United board go out there and sign him an attacker. And I don't blame Erik ten Hag. He was told he was going to get Greenwood back. Richard Arnold has made that U-turn, and it's only fair that Manchester United go out there and sign, obviously, Erik ten Hag, an attacker. There's Gift Orban, there's Taremi, but apparently his actual ideal target would be KUDUS, because Erik ten Hag wants Manchester United to bring in a versatile attacker. That's what he views as most beneficial, which is particularly interesting. But he also still wants Amrabat. Despite reports from Luckhurst that we don't want Amrabat, we obviously agreed a fee in terms of Amrabat. And it is basically been given the warning, if Man United don't bid by Friday, Amrabat will stay at Fiorentina. So Fiorentina putting out a warning saying, United, if you want your man, if you want your player, you've got to put a bid in as well. We will get into the takeover news in just a second as well. Where would KUDUS play? I think he would be competition. I think he'll play centre forward and right wing. I think he's someone that would play all across the front three. I think KUDUS is a great player. I don't think he's 100% what we need. But I do think he's a great player. KUDUS is dangerous. This just got interesting. It did get interesting as well. Williams set to go on loan to Ipswich, or is it a permanent as well? And only positive news we need is the Glazers going. At the end of the day, we're linked to KUDUS. We're reportedly in for KUDUS, that person to replace Greenwood. Basically, KUDUS is seen as a Greenwood replacement. So that is one to keep an eye on. But, you know, we've got news about KUDUS. We've got news about Amrabat. We've got news about Gravenberch. But as I've said, and as you guys have said, the only news we really want to see today is news that those Glazers are going to be adios. If we can get news that the Glazers are adios, then that is absolutely perfect. But unfortunately, you know, while the Glazers might be getting forced out of the club, you just never know. You just never know, eh? Continue to smash that like button, guys, and do subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video and all of that. I've got a few other updates, bits and pieces to get into as well. About the Glazers getting out. Music to my ears if the Glazers leave the club, 100% music to all of our ears as well. And Bruno and Rashford should leave United, can rebuild attacking play style. I disagree. I see a lot of people saying that Bruno and Rashford are our problems. I'm just going to say this now, and I get that Bruno and Marcus Rashford might not be the most fluid players and the most best on the ball players, but if we didn't have Bruno and Rashford, how many goals would we score? I know we're not scoring goals at the moment, but our top goal scorer last season was Bruno. Sorry, our top goal scorer last season was Rashford. Our second top goal scorer was Bruno. I know there's a section of the fan base that don't like either Bruno or Rashford and think Bruno and Rashford is the problem, and would sell Bruno and Rashford because they're not as pretty on the ball as Martial or Sancho. And, you know, they're one of those players. But we wouldn't score goals without Rashford or Bruno. We're barely scoring goals as it is. Rashford and Bruno scored 70% of our goals last season. You know, we can't... You can't sell Rashford and Bruno when you can't score goals, and they're the only two players in the club that score goals. Well, Varane is our biggest threat up front. Varane is our biggest goal scoring threat at the moment as well. Hi, Alice, been watching your video since 2020. Keep up the good work. Big up everybody. Mods on point. Big up mods in the chat. Does this mean Liverpool could get Amrabat? Now, there's a possibility that Liverpool could get Amrabat. Now, what's going on with Amrabat essentially is Atletico Madrid were interested in Amrabat, but they will not get Amrabat now because Rodrigo de Paul's moved to Saudi Arabia. has fallen through. Juventus wanted Amrabat, he turned them down. Saudi Arabia wanted Amrabat, he turned them down. Liverpool made an offer, spoke to Amrabat and his agent. He said, I want United. United's my priority. Liverpool thought, well, we don't really want to go for a player that's focused on this move to United and that he's only going to come to us if he doesn't get his move to United. So potentially there could be a deadline day signing there for Liverpool and Amrabat if he's not set to go to United. But Amrabat agreed personal terms to join United 2 months ago. He's turned down every club saying he wants United and is essentially waiting for United, but he's grown fed up and he said, I'm going to stay at Fiorentina if United don't put in this bid by Friday. Fiorentina getting really annoyed. They've already agreed a 29 million fee with United, but United won't make that bid until Donny van de Beek is sold. Now, the United Muppeteers has come out and said, look, Donny van de Beek is set to be sold. That move is progressing, but as we said, Maguire was set to be sold. It fell through. When you have Ed Woodward employing staff members at United and giving out ridiculous wages, you see more and more moves falling through at Manchester United. See more and more moves falling through because players want to stay for the wages. Eric Bailly's been kicked out of the squad. Eric Bailly's been kicked out of the team. Eric Bailly's not even allowed to basically train with the United players. And Eric Bailly still wants money to leave the club. And Eric Ten Hag's fed up. We overpay the players, so it's harder to sell the players. But essentially, Amrabat is the priority if Toney leaves, and that's when we will get the deal done. But basically, because there's a possibility we can get Gravenberch on loan, and we know the Glazers don't want to spend any money, Man United are actually going to be like, screw Amrabat if we can get Gravenberch on loan because we don't have to spend any money. Which some people might be like, oh, at least we're getting Gravenberch. But it's like, look, you want to get Amrabat and then Gravenberch is an addition. Because Amrabat is what Manchester United need. Amrabat is the exact type of player Manchester United need because we need someone that's capable of playing as a 6. We need someone that's capable of playing as an 8. And Gravenberch is just a great addition and a great young player that's had an iffy season at Bayern. You know, if you're the Manchester United board, you should be going for Amrabat. You should be going for Amrabat and then getting Gravenberch as an addition. Amrabat should be replacing Fred. Gravenberch should be replacing Toney. We should literally be signing first as well. Not heard of Atlay. The title said he completes his medical. Is he good? He's completed his medical, but United have not made a bid because, you know, that's what United do. He's not great, but he's better than the other goalkeepers United have been linked to as well. 10 days left of the transfer window. I see it being busy on the last day, exiting their good to watch. Exiting their good to watch on Sky Sports, especially August. Sky Sports is your deadline day place to go. Apart from Alice Talks Football, best place to be. Subscribe. Brighton went for KUDUS, which means we should go for him. Do you know what's funny is it sounds bad, but you're absolutely right. You know, Brighton, if Brighton are in for a player, you just, okay, they're going to be a good player, we should go for them. Because if Brighton are in for a player for 20 million, you know that we'll be bidding 100 million for him in a few years. Well, Chelsea will because Chelsea love it. And I have to say, I want to say something because I want to get back into the news, but I just want to say this. Caicedo's debut was worse than Mason Mount's debut. Are TalkSport doing a post about Caicedo's debut stats? No. Are the media talking about Caicedo's debut? No. Why is it only Mason Mount's debut you're talking about when Caicedo's debut was absolutely dreadful as well? Alex Marmon says Manchester United will suddenly sign players because they need to change the negative PR connection to the club because of Greenwood and the defeat to Spurs, says Alex Marmon. And I think that is potentially one of the reasons behind the mad links today as well. Rashford could retire as the all-time top scorer, potentially as well. And we have 0 reliable attackers. Rashford, Sancho and Anthony are basically entertainers. Few good games here and there. Rashford plays a good half a season, that's it. And Martial's injured or invisible. I think Rashford scores the goals. And yeah, other than that, you're somewhat correct. Perhaps Amrabat can go to United by September. Ten Hag wants him to have some strange things happen late in the window. Potentially, there's definitely a late deal on there for Amrabat. And for me, I just don't get why United just don't go ahead and put in a bid for Amrabat. It makes absolutely no sense. We probably get Hendo money after this window with a loan and must buy with how many matches he plays. My reading skills are absolutely dreadful today as well. Amrabat was still exploring the possibility. But let's get into the takeover news. Let's get into the takeover story because I find this bit of the news show particularly exciting, people. So let's get into this. There's basically been this big fallout, and I'm gonna get what the 1958 said first. Is it the 1958? This is the who are you? Clicked on a random guy's page. I should really turn my screen off, get the right post up. But anyway, he said basically it's gone sour at the club. Okay, behind the scenes at United, it has gone sour. And essentially, you know how the reason Greenwood wasn't allowed back is because staff threatened to go on strike. Staff made sure Greenwood didn't come back. Now, these staff have seen that them going on strike and not letting Mason come back, they're now trying to do the same with the Glazers. Because believe it or not, they are like, well, we managed to stop Mason from coming back. Maybe we can help push through this takeover. So Man United staff, who were told to confiscate Glazer out banners and all of that rubbish, have basically said, look, even club staff are now handing out flyer protests. They've had enough. We've all had enough. Forest sit-in protest for 60 minutes. Nobody recognises our club anymore, from inept and weak leadership to morally corrupt ownership, head and roll. The staff are handing out banners about the 60-minute sit-in. The staff at Manchester United have had enough. They're fed up and they're here and they're ready to force the Glazers out. And people will say, well, can they force the Glazers out? Obviously not. The Glazers are the Glazers. Oh, what rubbish! What rubbish, guys? Sorry. Something's just come out that's wound me up. Something's just come out that's wound me up here. Liverpool got their red card overturned. Man United would never get a red card overturned. Never get a red card overturned. But it's all right. Liverpool get a red card overturned. The referees in this league are a disgrace. Because, blatant handball, Man United don't get a penalty, nothing from the media. The media go, no, it wasn't a handball. The same media that said, oh, the England one wasn't a handball. Do you know what I mean? He's crazy. So basically, Man United don't get a blatant penalty. They don't kick up a fuss. Wolves don't get a blatant penalty, but because it's against Man United, they pick up a fuss. Man United the ref gave Bruno a card for talking to him. It wasn't even like Bruno was doing his usual moaning. Bruno was talking to the referee versus Spurs. He gets booked, which is a disgrace. But Liverpool player, McAllister, gets sent off, and the FA are like, we're going to overturn that decision. Now, look, it was harsh, but Casemiro's red cards were harsh, and that wasn't overturned. It's funny how Man United could get a player sent off for no reason, and it won't be overturned. But, of course, Liverpool get their red cards overturned because Liverpool are honestly the luckiest team in the world. And you know what? I'm going to quickly share this up on my screen here. People. I'm just having a bit of a rant about Liverpool, and Jack's just put tweet of the day out here. You know, this is what we want to see. I guess after reviewing the footage, they decided that they made the wrong decision. If only there was a way of reviewing the footage mid-match to put an end to these blatantly wrong decisions. Just a thought. And do you know what? Do you know what's mad? Is if this was Man United, it would never happen. You know, they aren't coming out saying they made the wrong decision here. PGMOL will only come out and say they made the wrong decision if it suits their Man United agenda. Because honestly, Liverpool are the luckiest club in the world. It doesn't suit the Man United agenda. So, you know, we're not going to say the refs got it wrong. The refs have got so much wrong. Let's be honest. Let's have an open chat. The referees have got so much wrong this in these opening 2 weeks. So much wrong. But the only time they come out and admit they're wrong is when it's against United, because it suits the anti-United agenda. And the referees in this league are an absolute disgrace with that anti-United agenda. Absolute disgrace. Oh my, no. It gets worse, people. It gets worse. What have I just read? I've just read a story. One of my favourite players is leaving. Let me get this up. No. This can't be true. Just another story's come up. This can't be true. Marc Jurado looks set to leave Manchester United this summer. He's said to be unhappy at United, with several Spanish clubs interested. I love Marc Jurado. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Trust me, he's going to be brilliant. Ethan Laird's gone, whatever. Emmeran's gone, whatever. Sedanic will go in. That annoyed me, I can't lie. Marc Jurado, Garnacho, and Alvaro Fernandez, they came as a three. Those three are all brilliant. Man United are going to let him leave permanently. Why are we letting all our top young talents leave permanently? Cool, he's unhappy, but let's actually, you know, get some money for him. You know, let's have some buyback clauses in him. This guy's such a talented young right back. I generally think he would have started to get a little bit of game time here and there. I can't believe that. I can't believe we're letting him go. We should be signing Amrabat, Gravenberch, and KUDUS. I think if we do all three and a backup goalkeeper, that should get us through to January, when we can get a new centre-back, 8.5 out of 10 window then. I agree, but Man United won't do that. We're not ambitious enough as well. Klopp has a problem. He's always moaning. When is the review and the apology for our penalty to Spurs? Exactly. Klopp's yapping. VAR should do its job properly, then they won't have to worry about overturning things. They've made a decision to overturn, but VAR aren't going to do their big announcement that they got a decision wrong, because it's not that they got, it's because it doesn't relate to United. It's ridiculous as well. Oh, good news here. Shia Lacey has signed a professional contract with Man United. Trust me. Shia Lacey, I'm going to tell you, this kid. Okay, 2 years ago, I made a video on the channel, a year and a half ago, really, when we're in the Youth Cup final. March of 2022, a year and a half ago, I made a channel and I made a video on the channel and I said Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho are the 2 academy players to watch out for. Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho, and I said that a year and a half ago. I said they are the 2 academy players to watch out for, because I watched a lot of the academy and they were unreal. Who's been the most successful academy player since? Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho. Who are the most times Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho? This guy on your screen here, he's better. He is better. He could be better. Shia Lacey, unbelievable. Good that we got him a new long-term deal. This will be our next Garnacho. This will be our next Kobbie Mainoo-esque player. He's like 15, so give it a few years. Him and Amir Ibrahimovic, those 2, they give it a few years. This guy, for me, was better than watching Greenwood in the academy. Was better than watching Mainoo in the academy. Was better than watching Garnacho in the academy. I tell you something about this player, Shia Lacey. This guy, he is our best young talent. So this is really good news here. Really, really good news here. I'll tell you that well. Glazers out, full sell only. I'm just going to scroll through the chat as well. Tommy Asu will not receive a ban next. The FA will go against their own rules and undo his ban, even though 2 yellow cards could not be overturned normally. Exactly. And do you know what the worst part is? Is if this was a Man United player, they wouldn't. The FA have made at least 5 big mistakes, and they've only come out about one of their mistakes, and that was because the mistake was in benefit of Man United. It's like the FA will only say it's a mistake if it benefits United, and so it's and they make a big fuss about it. You know, yes, Wolves should have had a penalty, but so should have we. Yes, McAllister shouldn't have been sent off. Casemiro shouldn't have been sent off. Yes, Tommy Asu's second yellow was hard, but why are you only kicking up a fuss when it applies to Man United? You know, why are you kicking up a fuss then as well? Is that the right back Barca wanted? We actually signed Gerardo from Barca. Really, honestly, guys, absolutely devastating news about Gerardo, because we signed him from Barca and he's a great young player. Absolutely devastating news as well. Really, really devastating, because I'm a massive fan of him. It's like when Sedan Iqbal left. Really big fan of him. So I'm absolutely heartbroken that he's going to be leaving. Brandon Williams is joining Ipswich on loan as well. That was a news story coming in. And obviously, United are exploring a loan obligation for, of course, Gravenberch. But I wanted to I wanted to go to the Glazers out thing here. And the Glazers out protest flyer that is being handed out. So basically, Man United staff are handing out this. Sit-in protest, 18 years, 2 billion removed, 1 billion wasted. United fans demand a resolution to 18 years of ignorance and silence. Join us, stand with us, fight with us, stay in your seat for you, for us, for each other. And essentially, you know, the staff are now joining in. This is the first time in 18 years of Glazer out protesting that the staff are joining in. The staff are going on strike against the Glazers. Everyone's fed up with the lack of communication on the takeover. Everyone's angry with Richard Arnold. There's rumours that Richard Arnold could be forced into resigning. There's lots of news coming out on Manchester United, the takeover, all of that stuff. And essentially, there's going to be a big protest in kind of against the Glazers. Get the Glazers out. Force the Glazers out. What can we do to get these Glazers out of the club? Big kind of protest, which is brilliant as well. Szoboszlai should be retrospectively banned for diving. I mean, Szoboszlai was diving and Liverpool got a penalty as well. Man United are been run by clowns. If Sir Alex Ferguson were here, he would say, stop this. Sir Alex Ferguson knew the Glazers were awful, but Sir Alex Ferguson had David Gill, who at least had somewhat of a brain as well. If you work for the Glazers, it's understandable to be unhappy, says Alex. Yeah, all the employees at Manchester United are unhappy. They're unhappy with the lack of communication. And you know what I'm going to say? And I spoke to someone that works at United, and I got a little bit of inside information for you guys. I've got a little bit of an interesting story. So essentially, with this takeover, people at United don't know if their jobs are safe or not. Okay? You found out in November United are going to get new owners, and you know if they get new owners, then most of the jobs are at risk. Imagine being an employee. We're in a cost of living crisis in the UK. It's one of the worst times to be living in the UK because we're a bit of a shit country at the moment. I'm not going to lie to you. We're a bit of a shit country to live in financially at the moment. It's all a bit of a mess up there. And not only are we in this big mess in the UK, But the employees at Man United, they have rent to pay, they have mortgages to pay, the interest rates are ridiculous. So paying that mortgage and that job security right now is so important with what's going on in the UK and the financial situation. And basically, the Man United employees don't have job security. And they were told in March they were going to know and they were going to get a warning. They've come to the resolution that the Glazers don't care. The Glazers don't care if they lose their job quickly and they can't afford their mortgage and they're in financial trouble. The Glazers don't care. And they're saying, well, you know, we're not getting any upfront clarity ahead of this process that we might need to change jobs. We're not knowing if we're going to stay, if we're going to go. You know, the owners aren't giving us any clarity. And those at Manchester United are absolutely fed up. They're saying, we're not really getting any information here. You know, the owners aren't telling us, like, I need to know what's going on in my job. So I know from employees at United that they are now going on strike against the Glazers. They're going on strike to try and get the Glazers to go. And obviously, you know, in England, we had all the train strikes and they eventually worked in the end. But if the staff start going on strike against the Glazers, that adds fuel to the fire. Because there's the protest. The protests are causing a problem. The Glazers hate the protest because they try to stop them. The Glazers told Sky to stop giving media attention to the protest. It bothers the Glazers. The green and gold staffs, Ten Hag lifting the green and gold scarf. Ten Hag, I tell you this as well, I heard this from someone. Ten Hag got told off for picking up a green and gold staff by the Glazers. Anyway, the club's got bids. So the club has got bids. The Glazers can sell the club. Qataris are there, but the Glazers basically aren't accepting the Qatari bid because they want more money. The Glazers are like, well, we've got this bid here from Qatari. Should we accept the Qatari bid or not? We kind of want more money. Blah, 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 blah. So the Glazers, they're not accepting the Qatari bid because they want more money. That is the answer to the story. They want more money, so they're reluctant to accept the bid. Okay? Now, if the staff go on strike, which they're doing, and try and force the Glazers out, I'm not saying that this is going to mean that the Glazers are going to accept that Qatari bid, but this is going to put more pressure on the Glazers to be like, crap, like this, you know, because if the staff go on strike, they're going to lose money. Could cause us a potential problem. This could cause a potential issue. Do you know what I mean? Staff go on strike, this causes an issue. So now there's going to be more pressure on the Glazers, not just the protest, but the staff going on strike, because the staff strike worked against Greenwood. It could work against the Glazers. To accept that bid, because it's not like the staff are going to go on strike and they're going to put the club up for sale. The club's up for sale. The staff are going on strike saying, "Get out! We don't want you here." Your own employees are going on strike. That's not happened yet. So the staff are turning on the Glazers. Inside, it's all turning on the Glazers, and it's getting to boiling point. The pressure's on the Glazers, because I tell you this: 4 of the Glazer siblings are fed up. They want the club sold to Qatar like that. 4 of the 6 Glazer siblings are fed up. They want the club sold to Qatar like that. Joe and Avram are the ones saying, no, if we just wait, maybe Qatar will put in another bid. Maybe they'll put in a higher bid. Joe and Avram, could this be the fuel to the fire to actually be like, Joe, Avram, get out? Thank you very much, Jim White, for the super chat. Sorry it took me 2 minutes to see this. But he says, hi, Alice. Do you know what number Højlund will wear this season? Number 17, as far as I'm aware, Jim. And also news has come in that Rasmus Højlund will be back in the squad for the Nottingham Forest game and will be on the bench. So, yes, Højlund will be wearing number 17 shirt, I believe, now Fred has left. And he's set to actually be in the squad versus Nottingham Forest tomorrow. We're on 179 likes, guys. Please do smash that like button if you have not already. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I go live every single evening talking about all the latest news regarding Manchester United. We've got a video, we have late night videos, we have early morning videos, and then we do 5, 6, 7 p.m. live stream UK time. So if you want to stay up to date, this is the place to be. But we've got some more stories to come into about the Glazers, speaking to people inside United, giving us some exclusive information on the owners of the club, and that is Joe and Avram don't care about the fans. That is the exclusive information I've got from people inside the club. Alice, that's not exclusive information. We know that. I know. But Joe and Avram don't care about the fans. Joe and Avram don't care about the employees. But Joe and Avram care about money. Joe and Avram haven't been able to take dividends out of United the last 2 seasons because of financial issues. That is why we're not signing Amrabat, because they want to make sure if they stay at the club, they've got their dividends money in January. So that's what I've heard. Because we have the funds. It's not about FFP. We have the funds right now to go out and bid for Amrabat. But they're like, ooh, if they stay at the club, there's things that can come in. Big up everybody in the chat as well. Big up Daz for joining the members club. Alice, you're so hot. You know what? I actually look all right today. I do a few morning live streams where I look dead, but I look okay today. But my hair, I need to get my hair done. But thanks. This is me being really vain with live stream as well. Should we take the links to Ivan Toney in January serious, or is it fake news? All right, let's have a talk about this one. All right, Ivan Toney to United. What have I heard? What is the news? What is the information? Man United have always had an interest in Ivan Toney, but Ivan Toney is a born and bred Liverpool fan, absolutely born and bred Liverpool fan, and he's basically twerking for Arsenal online. While Man United need a striker, Núñez ain't great, Liverpool are looking at striker, Arsenal looking at striker. What I've heard from people is Man United are very reluctant to go on Ivan Toney with his 8-month gambling ban, just because they've had a lot of, I think, controversy around the club. The Mason situation, there's obviously this Anthony situation that's kind of ongoing, but we don't really know a lot about. Manchester United are reluctant. They just don't want any drama around the club. Obviously, Ivan Toney's got his ban. He'll serve his ban, and it's nothing like what's gone on with Mason and Anthony. But from what I've heard, United are reluctant, especially because he hasn't played in a while. And Erik ten Hag's made it clear he wants a ready-made striker. He's confident will hit the ground running. From what I'm aware of, Manchester United aren't really looking at signing a big-name striker, which I think they should be doing. They're more looking at a striker that they can get on the cheap or they can get on loan. But there is reports that Ten Hag has now gone to the board and demanded we sign an attacker. But from what I'm aware of, if Man United are going to sign an attacker, it's going to be a fluid attacker that can play across the front three. The link that I'm hearing from inside sources and the link that obviously the Muppeteers are putting out is that KUDUS is that option. Erik ten Hag would really like to push for KUDUS, see if he can hijack that KUDUS to West Ham deal, which a lot of people say, but look, isn't he similar to Mount and to Bruno? And I get that, but what KUDUS brings is he can play centre forward, he can play right wing, he can cover a lot of stuff as well. The 2010 protests were the best ones, says Gaz. We need to do some more 2010 protests as well. How are you today, Alice? I'm actually in quite a good mood today. Thank you very much as well. Joe and Avram have both brains to care. This is why nobody gives a crap about them. Joe and Avram are the scum as well. And we know they don't care about fans, the staff, the FC. It's all about money. They'll even stab their own siblings in the back who have weaker shareholdings. That's what they're doing. The siblings are fed up. Darcy, Brian, Kevin, whoever the fourth one is. Darcy, Brian, Kevin, I don't know, Weirdy, Big Nose, whatever he's called, Glazer. They want the club sold. They actually want the club sold to Qatar. Joe and Avram, Greedy Joe, Fat Avram, Bad Air Avram, they're like, we could get some more money if we make. They don't care if they're still here next year. They don't care if the club is sold or the club is not sold. They know that the club needs to be sold. They know they want to sell the club, but they want more money. They want to make sure they've asked for $6 billion. They want to sell that. Basically, Joe and Avery, you know, the Glazers, them two, they basically say in a well, you know, I want to get $6 billion. I want to get $6 billion. I won't sell unless I get $6 billion is what they're saying. They're playing a game. They're saying that they think they're going to get $6 billion. You'd get $6 billion if there wasn't $1 billion debt to clear. You get $6 billion if $2 billion didn't need to be invested on a stadium. But how do you expect to get $6 billion for a club with a rotting stadium full of rust, dust? How do you expect to get $6 billion when the facilities haven't been changed in 18 years? When you've made nothing better in 18 years. How do you expect to get $6 billion when on top of the $6 billion they're going to have to spend another $3 billion on the renovations and paying off the debt? You'd get $6 billion if the stadium was in good shape. You'd easily get $6 billion if the stadium was in good shape and you didn't have the debt. But the reason Qatar are bidding $5.3 billion instead of $6 billion is because they know they've got to pay $900 million in debt. So they're essentially giving you $6.2 billion if you want to look at it from a logical perspective as well. Avram's hair is so bad it would have been considered a crime even in the 1980s, says Alex. Exactly. Shambles Trafford. Do you know what? I'm a massive Man United fan. You know, obviously. No, I'm actually, what can I say, guys? I'm actually an Oxford United fan. But no, joking. Obviously, a massive United fan. And I love United. And I would like to say United is the biggest and best at everything. And I love Old Trafford. But Old Trafford, the leaks, the mess. The leaks and the mess at Old Trafford is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. We have the worst kept stadium in the Premier League. I'm not lying. We have the worst kept stadium in the Premier League. It's not looked after at all. It's not looked after in the slightest. And I'm a United fan. I'm proud of my club. But I'm also embarrassed to say we have the worst kept stadium in the Premier League. We are the only team in the Premier League, bar Luton Town. Well, we're not counting Luton Town because they don't even have a stadium right now. We're the only team in the Premier League that doesn't have a big, nice electronic screen up. We're the only team in the Premier League that's got leaks, things falling, rust on the outside of the stadium, moss. Ronaldo said it in his interview, 17 years I've been at United and nothing has changed since I was here in 2003. They've not upgraded anything. They've not improved anything. Even the same chefs are here. And, you know, chefs are nice. You know, this isn't the chefs, but it speaks volumes. It's like you're not even just bad because you recruit bad, you employ the Bristol Bankers Club and Ed Woodward to make major decisions, but the ownership is just also dreadful in the sense of, right, we're going to do this, right, we're going to do that, right, this, right, that, right, this, right, that. And then they go and ignore everything. They go and ignore the fact that we need major renovations inside the club. They go and ignore all these key things that we need. They go and ignore the fact that we need major stadium improvements because these Glazers, they are the terrorists of football. They are the terrorists of football. It's absolutely shambolic, people. Absolutely shambolic. Oxford United are probably better run than Man United. The club was all about leaks, leaked to the press, Atlay as well. Lowell, same dish and training ground. Newcastle get a training ground in a year. Newcastle's owners come in and they're better than us. Newcastle, 2 years of new owners, they've got better facilities than us, better training ground than us, and now they've got arguably, I think they've got a better team than us, and I don't like saying that as a Man United fan. Luton have a flat, says Gaz as well. More leaks are coming out as well. Balogun, maybe. If Balogun was playing for that French club and not Arsenal, because he obviously went out on loan from Arsenal, we could get Balogun for a good price. Do you think Arsenal are going to sell? You think Arsenal are going to sell Man United Balogun for a good price? Not at all. Not at all. Arsenal will let Balogun go to Inter Milan for a good price. I tell you this now. Arsenal would sell Balogun to Chelsea for a hefty price. Arsenal would want, let's say Arsenal, I don't know what Balogun would go for. Arsenal would take 40 million from Inter for Balogun. They'd probably take 60 million from Chelsea for Balogun. But United come in, you go Premier League rival, but United tax, they would ask for about 80 million. They'd ask for 80 to 100 million because they know that Man United would be, as good as Balogun is, they know that Manchester United would be the only club in the world stupid enough to pay that. And I'm actually surprised Arsenal aren't utilising Balogun more. Personally, for the sense of, Nketiah is cool, Jesus is cool, but Balogun got all those goals. And, you know, Arsenal, I watched them play Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace defended extremely well. I was really impressed by Gahey. But I think that, you know, Arsenal need a striker as well. Gabriel Jesus is all right, but Gabriel Jesus is like a Martial that can stay fit a little bit longer. That's how I view Gabriel Jesus, in honesty. Please talk about Marcos Leonardo of Santos. Marcos Leonardo of Santos is a Manchester United target. He's available for 15 million euros, and teams in Europe are looking at him. Manchester United have an interest in Marcos Leonardo of Santos, but Manchester United don't look ready to activate that deal anytime soon. However, now that the Greenwood news has been announced, reports coming out from inside the club say Manchester United are obviously now actively working on signing an attacker. Man United are actively working on bringing in an attacker. KUDUS is the name on the list, but he's probably seen as that price range. Maybe something could advance for that. Taremi, other names, but there's no new news. We haven't had really any news on Marcos Leonardo as of the last month as well. Alex says the club is all about leaks at the stadium and leaks to the press. 100% leak Chester United is what we are as well. Not taking care of the stadium. It is the most important treasure at a club. Their home grounds, it triggers me that the Glazers have not taken care of what we used to call the theatre of dreams. Absolutely spot on as well. You know, the stadium is the theatre of dreams, and now it's the theatre of leaks. You know, it literally leaking left, right, and centre. It's like the club leaks coming out. Like, guys, smash the like button as well, and of course, subscribe down below. Alice, I was at a European match in the early 2000s. Old Trafford was a mess then. Yeah, it's been a mess for a while. When something's a mess for a while, it's going to just become a bigger mess. And it's become a bigger mess as well. We're being linked to everyone because it is Manchester United PR machine to take attention away from the Glazers and all the negative stories, the same as what we've done before. 100% is the United PR machine coming out as well. Lindelof to Rennes. Rennes are interested in Lindelof. They've inquired about Lindelof, and Eric Ten Hag basically said to Rennes, no bitch. Like, that is the general truth. He's basically said to Rennes, nah, you can do one. I ain't selling Lindelof. Maguire, is here up for sale. Look, here's Maguire, big for sale sign probably stuck on Maguire's head from Eric Ten Hag. There's Maguire. He's up for sale. Lindelof, now don't touch him. But you know what? If I'm Maguire, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because basically, people have come in putting bids in for Lindelof, inquiring about Lindelof, and Ten Hag said no. People come in inquiring about Maguire, and Ten Hag's like, yes, please. I mean, Maguire, do you not see that? Do you not read the room? No disrespect, Maguire, but the manager does not want you. Read the room, Harry. But look, Harry don't read the room very well. I tell you what, because it's very obvious. It's very obvious. Ten Hag doesn't want Maguire. Very obvious as well. Any more news on Gravenberch? Basically, Gravenberch wants to join United, and United are trying to inquire if they can get Gravenberch on loan. What I've heard on Gravenberch to Manchester United is essentially if we can get the deal on loan, and then it's very easy to do. Bayern basically are willing to let him go out on loan, potentially. We're just waiting for confirmation that Bayern would be willing to let him go out on loan. We obviously know from the Muppeteers that Ryan Gravenberch told his representatives in March and April he wants to join United. We know he tried to join United on loan in January, but we got told we can have Sabitzer as well. Ryan Gravenberch to United is edging closer as well, and United are exploring a loan deal with an obligation to buy, and I think that's the only way it gets done because United don't want to spend any money as well. Obviously, Liverpool have an interest in Ryan Gravenberch, but they've had no encouragement from Bayern Munich that they're willing to do business from Ryan Gravenberch, but also means that maybe it will be harder for United to get Ryan Gravenberch. But sources also came out today, and Manchester United sources have not ruled out the fact that they might move for both Amrabat and Gravenberch, as we discussed in today's video, guys. So loads of interesting stories coming out on Ryan Amrabat. Ryan Gravenberch and Amrabat as well. Obviously, who's this lovely person tweeting? Oh, wow. Gravenberch is a great player, but Manchester United need a player like Amrabat. Way more to help solve midfield issues. If you could get Amrabat and maybe Gravenberch on a loan to buy, that would be ideal. Focus got to be Amrabat, but if we sell McTominay, then we should go for both. If we sell McTominay, we will go for both. But, unfortunately, it's Toney out on one of these two. It's Toney out on one of Gravenberch or Amrabat. Now, if Gravenberch is available on loan, even though we need Amrabat more, United will go for Gravenberch. Oh, save money, save money. What's the Glazers' middle name, people? Save money. That is the Glazers' middle name. It's Avram, save money, Glazer. And Joel, greedy, can't say that word, it'll be censored by YouTube, Glazer. So, it's dependent on if Toney goes, we'll get one of these midfielders, probably get whoever's cheaper. Amrabat is obtainable because Florentino said, look, you can come get him for 29 million. He's adios. Amrabat, he's agreed to join us. Gravenberch wants to join us. His preference is United over Liverpool, but whose isn't? Who wants to go to Liverpool? Lavia didn't. Casado didn't. Mount didn't. Yeah, no one really wanted Liverpool, did they? No one really wanted Liverpool. Small club. But I think with Gravenberch, it depends on the loan situation. It depends. With Gravenberch, he wants United. United want him. It depends on if Bayern are going to let us take him on loan or if Bayern are going to sell him. Now, Sky is saying that Bayern are open and they're not going to rule out his departure. But yeah, Romano says that Amrabat still remains top of our list, though, because Man United sources are saying Gravenberch is top of the list. Romano is saying, nah, trust me, Amrabat's top of the list. So there's also a lack of clarity on who's top of United's list. But as Nick has said, Lindelof is not leaving. Recap, please, Alice. Want to know the news about the Vermin Glazers, says Jigsman. News on the Vermin Glazers is essentially that the staff are going on strike. The staff are trying to force the Glazers out of the club, like they forced Mason Greenwood out of the club. They saw it work with Greenwood. They're trying to do the same with Abby and Jolie. And look, 4 Glazer siblings want to go. The bid is there from Qatar. Abby and Jolie, they're getting a bit greedy, That's what it is, Greedy Glazers. I'm surprised they're not on. No, I can't say that. That's really rude, even if it's the Glazers. Anyway, continuing on as well. Alice needs to remember live stream filter, even when you talk about the Glazers. We can't be too disrespectful, but we can be disrespectful. If we don't get Gravenberch on a loan and sign Amrabat as well, we have failed. Both can be done for sure. 100%. Both can be done. I reckon if our owner was Sheikh Mansour right now, both would be done. 100%. If our owner was the big old Sheikh Mansour, that deal would be done. If our owner was Newcastle's owner, I don't know what the name is. They've got the blonde woman and I think her husband or something. If our owner was Newcastle's owner, boom, deal could be done. If our owner was PSG's owner, they're Qatari, interesting, funny, that deal would be done. I'm pretty sure Liverpool's owners would have done this deal by now because they put in 110 million bid for Caicedo. Arsenal's owners would have done this deal right now. Arsenal got their 3 big signings. It was 105 million Declan Rice before the start of the season. And Arsenal used to be as shambles as United. Arsenal, their owners, Chelsea's owners, Liverpool's owners, Newcastle's owners, City's owners, even Daniel bloody Levy and Spurs' owners, all more serious than United's owners. all would have seen this guy's 29 million. There's a big gaping hole in the midfield. This is clearly someone Man United need to sign. They would have seen that and gone, boom, boom, let's sign this guy. Ten Hag needs him. Because we watch football. We know that Man United need to sign this player. But unfortunately, our owners don't watch football. Our board, I don't think, watches football, or at least shows any interest in football. So although it's very clear that Manchester United need to sign this player and Man United should be signing this player, like, come on United, let's do this deal or this deal, you don't. They just probably won't. They just probably won't, because that is our owners. We will get one of Gravenberch or Amrabat if Toney leaves. We'll only get two if Toney leaves. But realistically, we should have got Amrabat, the second Fred, left as a Fred replacement. And if Toney leaves, we should then go and get Gravenberch as a Toney replacement, because Gravenberch is a Toney replacement and Amrabat is a Fred replacement. Getting one player to replace two players makes no sense. It makes Manchester United sense, which is no sense, because Manchester United don't have sense. Ten Hag has sense. We, fan base, some of us have sense, not all of us, some of the questionable things we've seen. But does Arnold have sense? Does John Murta have sense? Does Joel Glazer have sense? Does Abraham Glazer have sense? No. They are senseless. So it would make so much sense to do this. But if something makes so much sense, don't expect Man United to do that. As negative as that sounds, don't. Pavard was a good one to dodge, in the sense of we need a younger player there that can develop with more physique and pace. You know what? I somewhat agree. I wasn't too bothered about us missing out on Pavard and Toney, because reports actually came out yesterday that Man United are going for centre-back Antonio Silva next summer. I said at the end of the day, Maguire out and being replaced by Pavard or Toney would be ideal, just to help the build-up, just because Ten Hag doesn't want him. Get Maguire out, get a new player in. That's fine. But if Maguire stays and he's the fifth choice centre-back, it's not the end of the world. Because right now we've got Varane and Martinez, we've got Lindelof, and we've got Shaw that can play centre-back. So if Maguire stays, it's not the end of the world. The problem is, now Fred is gone, we do need Amrabat. If we don't sign Amrabat, it's a big problem. Us not getting Toney or Pavard in is fine, and Maguire staying is fine. But we need a midfielder so badly. We need a midfielder more than we need a centre-back. So, I wasn't too bothered about Maguire staying. He shouldn't have stayed, and ideally he should have gone and we should have got Kim and Jay in. But next summer, that means we could go and get a better centre-back than Pavard and Toney. Maybe Antonio Silva will be available. But we need to get a midfielder, because that defence can keep clean sheets. That defence is fine, to be honest. But that midfield is not fine. That midfield is not okay. And that front three could be better. That could be the word for the front three. So for me, whatever, centre-back, whatever. The focus now needs to be on midfielder, attacker, and the second goalkeeper going to sign. That's where the focus needs to be. And what do we need? Amrabat. Who can play six? Amrabat. Who can play next to Casemiro? Amrabat. Who's going to give us the sense of stability? Amrabat. How much is he available for? 29 million. Has United agreed a fee? Yes. Did United agree personal terms with him 2 months ago? Yes. There's a player who's agreed to join us that's £29 million that ticks the box of what we need available on the market. You've already got rid of Fred. Sign him. Do you know what I mean? Because not signing a centre-back, there's going to be great options available next summer, like Antonio Silva. There's going to be better options. There's not going to be a better value for money right now than Amrabat. Maybe we could go and get Tchouaméni next summer. Fantastic. Brilliant. That's 100 million. That'd be amazing. But I know we're not going to get Tchouaméni next summer because he doesn't want to leave Madrid. Who realistically could United get next summer? Because there's a lot of good centre-backs we can realistically get next summer, so missing out on Pavard isn't the end of the world. I don't know. So at least get Amrabat in case, we can't sign someone in that attacking role next summer. At least you can bring Amrabat in. Maguire stopped us from getting Kim Min Jae and Pavard. Now he'll be booed by United fans if he ever plays for us again. I don't agree with the booing of Maguire, but I do agree Maguire should have left and he was stupid not to leave. And obviously it was said by Jack Talbot. Jack Talbot came out and confirmed that Erik ten Hag was, publicly praises Maguire and publicly will be very positive about Maguire. But Jack Talbot was actually really frustrated by the fact that Jack Talbot reported that Erik ten Hag is really frustrated by the fact that Harry Maguire stayed at the club. Erik ten Hag does not understand why Maguire stays at the club and really wanted to get either Kim and Jae in, which he lost out, or Pavard in. And it is said that Erik ten Hag is quietly fuming at the fact that Harry is staying at Manchester United, and he was really keen and desperate to obviously have signed one of Kim and Jae and Pavard. So, that's what came out by Jack Talbot as well. I don't get the Mount transfer. I would understand if we changed our playing style, but not now. I trust Ten Hag. Look, I agree. I trust Ten Hag. I'm going to give Mount more time. I'm not going to write him off after 2 games. I don't think Mount was particularly bad, actually, in the first half versus Spurs. I thought he was one of the better players, and he did a lot of good movement off the ball, but I don't understand how Mason Mount was meant to fit in this side. I didn't understand that when we signed him, but I'm going to back Erik ten Hag, and I'm going to focus all my negative attention away from the likes of Mason Mount and towards Joel. Love that. Joel Glazer. That's where I'm going to focus my attention as well. Amanda Stabley is her name. Big up. That was the one I was thinking of as well. I'm just scrolling down the live chat. People, Maguire must leave. Without Mount, who's coming in? McTominay. I don't know if McTominay is going to stay or leave. 280 likes, guys. The like target is 300 likes. We've got literally 950 people watching. We're 20 likes away from 300 likes. I'm sure mathematically there's going to be about 20 of you in the chat that have not hit that like button. So please do. And of course, subscribe down below. Glazers out, the movement of getting the Glazers out on the channel. So do subscribe down below as well. Midfield injury for Forest. Is there an injured? Is Mason Mount is Mason Mount injured? Is Mason Mount... I'm just going to make sure there's nothing rude that comes up when I refresh my thing. But I'm just going to see if any people are saying Mason Mount's injured. You're joking. You're joking. He's been in 2 games. Oh, my. Oh, what's he done to get in? Now we've got to sign. Now we've got to sign a midfielder. Mason Mount will miss the match against Nottingham Forest with an injury. Picked up against Tottenham. He's expected to be out until the international break. People will say, some weirdos in the fan base will celebrate this because they don't like Mason Mount. But like, what are we going to do? I guess it's going to be Bruno Eriksson Casemiro, which is not the end of the world. But like, let's be honest. Okay, Mason Mount out. Some of you don't like him, but surely, I know he's only out for a couple of weeks. Maybe this might hopefully trigger the Glazers into, okay, go buy Amrabat for 29 million. There you go. How is he injured already? How is he injured already? That's so annoying. I mean, maybe this could trigger us into getting this Gravenberch or Amrabat deal done. But that's annoying. Maino is injured. Mount is injured. Ahmad is injured. Everyone is getting injured. Do you know what? Do you know what's mad? Martial's not injured right now. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. Martial is still fit. Martial's not been injured for two weeks. Wow. Martial's not been injured for 2 weeks. Wow. Mason Mount's injured though. That's annoying. That's really annoying. Why is he injured? I mean, not that it's his fault as well. But that Mason Mount's injured. Mason Mount is injured. Højlund comes back and Mason Mount's injured. Out until the international break. It's like as soon as we get Højlund back, Mount's like, yeah, I'm going to be injured now as well. Frankfurt have been bad since February, says Adam. You're actually right with that as well. Who's going to break the legs of City and Liverpool as well? Do you think most of our players are clumsy with the ball? Yep. They need to be more disciplined as well. Keep smashing the likes. Mount is injured until the international break, people. So Højlund comes back from injury, and Mason Mount's like, now I'm injured. People are saying I'm a jinx. I'm literally just talking about Mason Mount, and then it comes out 2 minutes later that he gets injured as well. Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Martial is not injured. Breaking news for you. Shock story of the day as well. Breaking news. Martial has stayed fit for 2 weeks. This major breaking story. It's mad. It's a rare win for Martial, but Mason Mount's injured to remember how to play. Bloody hell. Sancho could play a Mount spot. I would not be surprised if Ten Hag tried this. I generally would not be surprised in the slightest if Ten Hag was like, you know, I was about to try and do a Ten Hag accent, and it was not going to sound like Ten Hag because I can't do accents. If you asked me to do an Italian accent, I'd sound like an Indian. Can't do accents to save my life, but I wouldn't be surprised because we saw in pre-season that he actually played Sancho as a 10 for one of the games as well. Mason Mount apparently picked up an injury against Tottenham and is expected to be out until the end of September as well. Yeah. Who knows? Højlund is back. Mount is injured. Classic Manchester United as well. Mason Mount will miss the match against Forest and likely miss the match against Arsenal and will be out for the international break as well. People talking about Arsenal being lucky. I don't think Arsenal were lucky. The Tommy Asu card was unlucky as well. Ooh. Sorry, I just read something. Interesting. That. Okay, so I was just reading something that was quite an interesting point, but I don't think I can say it because I'd get in trouble. I need to confirm that. I just got an interesting message about something regarding United, but I don't want to say it until I know that I can get a bit more information on something. because I don't want to get in trouble or spread false information. But Martial will get injured at the weekend. You know what? We're gonna jinx it now. I've done this big celebration that Martial is fit, but we're gonna jinx it now. I might have an interesting video coming out tonight. I've just got a message about something, and I want to see if I can get some more information on it. And I might be bringing you an interesting story tonight on the channel. So do subscribe for that. A little bit of news on Manchester United as well. Surely Hannibal or Gore need to be given a chance to give midfield some legs and balance until Amrabat or someone else comes in. Yeah, potentially. It's just, are Hannibal and Gore ready? That's interesting information as well. And a source, Eric Ten Hag's hen. The source is actually catch up, to be honest with you as well. Not sure we're getting linked to Toney in. I tell you what, the Ivan Toney links are lazy journalism. Ivan Toney to Manchester United links. Ivan Toney to Manchester United transfer news is lazy journalism. It is like, okay, Ivan Toney did a podcast with the Diary of the CEO yesterday. Ivan Toney's made it clear he's probably going to leave Brentford in January. Man United need a striker. Oh, Man United want Ivan Toney. I tell you what, Ivan Toney to Man United, there's rumours about it. There's news about it. It's not come from a tier 1 source. It's not come from a good source. Ivan Toney to Manchester United is just straight up lazy journalism. That's all it is. Easy report, lazy report. Let's link Ivan Toney to Manchester United. That's what we're going to do. That's 100% what the story is as well. Anyway, please do smash the like button as well. Richard resigned. I wish. No, it's nothing. It's nothing on transfers. It's on one of our players, or one of maybe our future players. But I'm just checking the news here as well, just to see if we can get any updates on some interesting stories as well. Shane Mason-Mount's picked up that injury yet. Casemiro and Eriksen trying to perform a man-to-man press. It could be a frustrating game versus Nottingham Forest as well. Manchester United may be able to cash in on Mason Greenwood, and that would allow them to complete their next signing. Interesting there as well. So we've got a few more stories to get into. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it's very unlikely that Manchester United are going to sign a centre-back this summer. And basically the indication is it's a second goalkeeper, a midfielder, and potentially a forward, because although Manchester United don't want to sign a forward, Ten Hag is pushing for that. When I say Man United don't want to sign a forward, I mean the Glazers, the board, don't want to sign a forward, but Eric Ten Hag is really pushing that. And obviously he pushed for that last time when we ended up with Weghorst. So I do think if we sign a forward, it's probably not going to be the most exciting signing. But your Glazer accent wasn't great either. I can't do a Glazer accent. I think the only way I could do a Glazer accent is if like I don't like if I could sound like a rat. But do rats make a noise? Very off topic, but do rats make a noise? Because I feel like the only way I could do the Glazer accent if I started going wee, 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 because they're just rats to me. They're just rats to me. I can't do American accent. I could try and do American accent, but I know it's just going to come out awful. We love money. That doesn't sound American. No, I don't do accents. I'm a girl with very few talents, and accents is one of the many things. I tell you that now. Casemiro could be in trouble. Is Casemiro a problem, Alice? I don't think so. Come on, chat. Give Alice 400 likes. Yes, people smash that like button as well. And of course, subscribe down below as well. Injuries can happen. It's always important to strengthen in the transfer window. You need a big squad competing for big trophies, says Steve. Absolutely spot on. Jim the rat out. Jim the rat out, please. And how many times does Alice put Glazers are leaving videos? I haven't said the Glazers are leaving. I said the Glazers could be forced out, because it's come out today that Manchester United staff are turning on the Glazers and trying to force the Glazers out of the club. That's what we're trying to do. Does it mean the Glazers will leave? No. The thing is, you could drop an atomic bomb on top of the Glazers and they'd probably still come out of it absolutely fine and still be the owners of Man United. It's going to take a lot for the Glazers to leave. It's going to take 6 billion plus. That's just what the Glazers are like, you know. And the Glazers are raccoons. If we lose 2 centre-backs, Harry's incoming. It's not Harry Maguire's a 5th choice, isn't the end of the world. That Harry Maguire isn't as bad as a centre-back as we make out. If he's on 200 grand a week, he should be starting week in, week out. He's not good enough to start week in, week out. But look, he's capable of playing well for England. If we get loads of injuries and Maguire's the quality of your 5th choice centre-back is Maguire level, he's still a solid Premier League level centre-back as well. Maino is set to be back in October, guys. So you've got to think that we missed 2 weeks of September through international break. But Kobbie Maino is set to be back in October, which could be interesting as well. But yeah, looks like mid-October as well. I think, and I tell you this now, I think Kobbie Maino is going to play a big role as well. Alice, the Toney news is true. United have been inquiring, comes from my mate inside Brentford. I mean, I'm sure United have been inquiring, but United, the thing is, I reckon maybe United have inquired about Ivan Toney, but who haven't Man United inquired about in the last like 3 months? That is the thing as well. Such a shame for Mason Mount. It is. Maino out for 2 months. Everyone seems to be injured. Glazers and mutants. Harry not as bad as we think. He's worse. I'm loving the lots of negativity in the chat here. Let's direct negativity away from our players and towards the Glazers. Avram Leach Glazer, Joel Rat Glazer. Let's that's where the negativity can go. Let's focus on the sit-in Forest protest anti-Glazer. Mengi's been sold, I'm pretty sure, or injured. Laird sold. Mengi's injured as well. I noticed Aston Villa play tomorrow. First English team to start in Europe. 5:45 kickoff. Weird time in the UK, but Villa playing outside the UK is understandable. Yeah, the European games kick off a bit earlier because I guess some of them have time zones that are way ahead as well. If the more eastern that you go as well, some of them are 3-4 hours ahead. Who are Villa playing? I feel like I should know this. Aston Villa. Maybe I'll make a second channel video on Aston Villa. They're going to be an interesting club to follow this summer. Oh, they're not. They're just playing Hibs. Oh, I'm just surprised actually. That's Scotland. Surprised that's a 5:45 kickoff, but. You know what? I do like a 5:45 kickoff because I sometimes like an early night sleep. Can't lie to you. Joe and Avram look like Boris the Animal from Men in Black 3. Don't know who that is actually. I don't have a clue. But I'm assuming they resemble a rat or something as well. Rats would run this club better than the Glazers. You know what? Probably. Because I actually think they could, because at least they wouldn't take $1 billion out in dividends. They wouldn't do much. They wouldn't take $1 billion out in dividends. So you know what? I'm all for the new owners being rats if it's going to get the Glazers out. Guys, please do smash the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video. All of that good stuff as well. They're playing Gibson, Scotland. Fenerbahce goalkeeper back injury, medical test in Greece news. He passed his medical. If Dean Henderson goes, he's set to be a replacement. He's not the best second keeper in the world, but he's better than the other ones we were linked to. So I think we just got to agree that, accept that, deal with that as well. Ferguson of Brighton, KUDUS of Ajax. I tell you this now. If Brighton got 110 million for Moises Caicedo and attackers go for a lot more than midfielders, and Evan Ferguson is their pretty much star boy, you ain't getting Evan Ferguson for anything less than 150 million. If Man United want Evan Ferguson, who's just signed a new contract and a new deal, Manchester United are going to absolutely have to break the bank to even have really some kind of chance of getting Evan Ferguson. We're going to have to completely break the bank, to be honest. It's because Brighton tax. Brighton made Chelsea pay 110 million for Caicedo, which is the equivalent of Man United probably paying 150 million with United tax. But I like Evan Ferguson, but the tax on a deal like that would be unbelievable. Guys, we're on 68,269 subscribers. I'm on the road to 68.3. I'm actually on the road to the big 69,000 subscriber mark. We're desperate to hit 69,000 subscribers on the channel. So do subscribe if you're new. We're 731 subscribers away from 69k. We're on 68,269. So please do smash that like button if you have not already. Evan Ferguson will be the saga of next summer. I wouldn't even be surprised. And Evan Ferguson is a Man United fan, big time, is he? That wouldn't surprise me. A lot of players are Man United fans as well. 415 likes. Let's go for 500 likes. Let's go on the road to 69,000 subscribers. Let's go for 415 likes as well, people. So yeah, 69 is my lucky number. So I do want to hit 69,000 subscribers. Quickly getting into a few stories as well. Eric Ten Hag pushing for an attacker. Eric Ten Hag going to the board complaining that they sign an attacker. Rich Fay has said that Manchester United are in talks with Sheffield United over a potential loan deal for Facundo Pellistri. Facundo Pellistri will need Manchester United to sanction his loan move before he can have a medical. United are now discussing whether they should sanction a loan move for Pellistri or not. The feeling is that Pellistri will leave United in the coming days. And Benfica told United they want the goalkeeper. They've got to pay 10 million euros, which is why Manchester United have obviously passed their interest over to Atlay, who had a surprise medical today at Manchester United. Gravenberch is being explored on a possible loan deal. It's yet to know if Bayern Munich will sanction a loan deal, but if Bayern Munich do sanction a loan deal for Gravenberch, that move is becoming increasingly likely, and Manchester United staff are trying to force the Glazers out. They're going to take action about the Glazers. They've had enough with the Glazers, and they're handing out flyers to remind people of the protest. The pressure is on the Glazers now that staff are going on strike to potentially turn against the Glazers. Højlund is back from injury. Mason Mount is out injured. KUDUS is being eyed up as a replacement. Now that Greenwood is gone, Erik ten Hag has said to the board, you told me Greenwood was coming back months ago. I had plans that involved Mason Greenwood. I now want you to sign another attacker. Now Mason Greenwood is not coming back. And KUDUS could be one to watch out for. However, KUDUS to West Ham is particularly close. And if Man United going for an Ajax player, you know they'll put the price up by about 10 million. So that effectively is a roundup of kind of everything that we discussed today. Me saying really fast as well, there is rumours of Bayi to Fulham, but basically Bayi could go to Fulham, but he's saying to United, cool, I could leave, but before I leave, give me 700k extra to buy me out. And Man United are like, go do one as well. What can we do to force the Amrabat move? Get battered 6-0 by Forest. Like that is the truth as well. Evan Ferguson, another one we had a trial and let slip. Yep. And all of that as well. And Martial's going to get injured till Christmas to show Mount up, man. Yeah, I tell you what, Martial must be sitting there going, how dare Mason Mount get injured before me? How dare Mason Mount get injured before me? I'm Anthony Martial. I'm the king of the injury room. I'm the king of the injury room. Mason Mount has been injured before me. Martial's going to be going, Mason, let me get back in that injury room. Yeah, Martial ain't going to be happy with Mason Mount. He's taking up his spot in the injury room. You know, new thumbnail. Mason Mount and Martial beef. Drama. Terrifying, imagine. But yeah, has Arnold resigned? No, but Arnold's under pressure to resign. Will Arnold resign? Probably not, because of the takeover. I don't think anyone's going to leave anytime soon. I don't think Glazers would replace Richard Arnold if they're going to leave the club in 2 months. If they're going to leave the club in 2 months, that is a big if. Hopefully they do as well. With all these players linked to United, why are we not signing Amrabat? Well, Samuel Lutka says we didn't really want Amrabat, but I think that's the PR in case we don't end up signing him because Toney doesn't go. Romana said we want Amrabat, but we're waiting for Toney to be sold as well. Gravenberch wants United and not Liverpool as well. Fergie needs to tell them all to go. Absolutely. Martial's been at the club 8 years. He has been at the club 8 years. That's mad. Arnold on the dole. And yeah, anyway, people, I am going to wrap up today's live stream. I've been live for an hour and 11 minutes because my last few live streams have been about 40 minutes and I normally go live for about 50 minutes. So we did a bit of a bonus one to make out for the short live streams. I will be back at 10 o'clock tonight with a video on all the news that comes out. Interestingly, I've got a little bit of information that's been sent to me. I'm trying to find out a bit more of that, but maybe we'll be breaking an exclusive news story today. We might be breaking in a little bit of an interesting news story today, or it's not that we've signed anyone, but it's something that I wasn't expecting. So I'm going to see if I can get some more information on that and just check with the source and the credibility. But could have an interesting story out today, but we are going to do a video tonight. We're going to do a transfer roundup where we sum up all this news in less than 10 minutes. So I will see you guys tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe down below, share the video. See you next time, and bye.